You'll find out.
Don't forget to secure your home. Board up windows, reinforce garage doors, and trim trees to prevent damage from flying debris.
I have a surprise from a little roach and fly. Pop makes all of them die. Don't bother with the long chat, Pop tell you why. Pop makes all of them die.
Times are hard, but you've got to include Pop on your grocery list to protect you and your family against all flying and crawling insects, especially dengue mosquitoes. Pop's powerful formula kills insects fast. Pop is best on pests.
Pop makes all of them die. Get serious, get back. Pop, 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 make all of them die.
God, here's a winner! Win an unforgettable experience during the FIFA World Cup games and win with Coca-Cola. Here's how you can enter. Uncap a 591 ml Coke original taste or Coke zero sugar with the football label. Find the unit code under the cap. Send that code via WhatsApp to 265-5792 or scan the QR code in stores. It's that easy. One entry can make you win one of 5 flat screen smart TVs during the FIFA World Cup games. Or win FIFA merchandise instantly with over 1,500 prizes to be won. For more details, follow Josephine Gabriel Facebook page. Score with Coca-Cola and win!
Sale, sale, sale. It's a 6-day mega sale at Raffles Foam and Upholstery Services for 6 days only from June 22nd to 27, 2026. Enjoy amazing savings with a different deal every 2 days. Monday and Tuesday, get 50% off on foam mattresses. Wednesday and Thursday, enjoy incredible savings on upholstery fabrics and curtains. Friday and Saturday, save big on orthopedic mattresses. The savings happen at Raffles Foam and Upholstery Services, your one-stop shop for comfort, quality, and style. Visit our showroom on King George B Street opposite Jolliet Pharmacy and Wholesale near the Point Michelle bus stop. For more information, call 440-2424. Raffles Foam and Upholstery Services. Don't miss the sale event where every 2 days brings a new deal. Sale, sale, sale. 6 days of unbeatable savings.
Madam Boboy Madi, Laukali, Idikote Brights and Company. Yele Rice and Company, the only company I know with Brights was cooking butter and back and neck. Now in the last valley short, I said Brights. In the old plus level where you have a roofing material and seamless guttering. Yes, 24 gauge governors, all colors. Ever open Nipu gas peel agent. They program the computer to give you the exact size you want. And the seamless guttering aluminum that can better withstand the elements you have in an easy way. So no leaking after a while. And so much more. Brights and Company, the by 8 bank close to the old mill at Enfield. Telephone 617-2468.
Before I introduce my guests, I'm going to play you this song. I call it a song of hope. And this afternoon, we're going to be talking about hope for Dominica. We're going to be talking to a psychologist, because Dominica, the future of Dominica is not just about politics. It's about people. How do we inspire a generation to believe in their own power to shape the future? So I'm going to give you this song to sort of inspire you at this time.
It's not easy one, but we do not go for. keep holding on. So let's look up. Dance with the tears still trying in your eyes. 'Cause one thing I know deep inside is the truth. Sweet you guys will all come through. They talk like they know how my story is, but they weren't there when I lost my friends. Sweet do not care. I fall to my knees when the fear comes in, then I rise again, feel the faith within. Sweet do not care.
We we are happy to have a conversation this afternoon with psychologist Dr. Margaret Wallace as we examine the challenges facing our nation and explore how Dominica, can rediscover confidence, resilience, and hope. After 26 years, finding hope and a path forward for Dominica. For more than 2 decades, Dominica has experienced governance under one political administration. During that period, many citizens have witnessed political defections, shifting loyalties, and growing frustration among sections of the population. Some people feel discouraged, others feel exhausted. Many wonder whether their voices still matter. Today, we're not discussing politics alone, we are discussing people. Again, joining us is Dr. Margaret Wallace, psychologist and daughter of Dominica, to help us understand the emotional and psychological impact of a prolonged political struggle, and more importantly, how our people can find hope and purpose moving forward. Welcome, Dr. Wallace. Are you there? How are
I'm
you?
here. I'm
Good.
here. I am well. Thank you. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you, Dr. Wallace. Thank you for joining us this
You're
afternoon.
welcome.
I know a lot of people are, you know, they're sitting back and hoping and, wondering what you have to say about the many questions I may ask you this afternoon there, because we're all talking about hope. But Dr. Wallace, after many years, I just want to get straight into it. But before we do that, help us understand, who are you, Dr. Wallace? Tell us
Oh,
about
my.
your background.
Well, you said my name. I am Dr. Triffy. I am Triphinia, Triphinia, Tone Tone. I go by many names. Dr. Tripping. I've been dubbed by a few people.
Tripping.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Dr. Tripping. I'm all of that. I'm all of that. I am Dominica. I'm every little bit of Dominica. Yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
was born in Cottage. I'm a Jean Cortège
Okay.
in the north of Dominica. I
Mm-hmm.
attended Portsmouth Secondary School and the state college when it was called Sifokol.
Big up.
Yeah, that's
Big up
right.
to
That's
you,
right.
call. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's,
yeah.
ma- that's
Sifokol.
many years ago, huh?
Many years ago, many years ago. And I live and work and practice, and I'm licensed in the state of Georgia
Mm-hmm.
as a psychologist. I've done the
Okay.
work, I've done mental health work from 1996. So you all can do your little addition and see how many years that is.
But again, I just want to thank you for, of course, agreeing to join us this afternoon to help us understand the psychology of just what is taking place in Dominica at this time. Dr. Wallace, after many years of political division and uncertainty, what psychological effects can prolonged political struggles have on the population?
Ooh, what effects can it not? Yeah, it's more about how many ways people can become impacted by that length of time of
Mm-hmm.
struggle and by the intensity of the struggle, also the tone of the struggle. When I say tone, I mean the style of politics, right?
Mhm.
So recently we learned that the style of politics is maybe even deeper and darker than we even wanted to consider.
Mhm.
And I think it's left a lot of people feeling confused and maybe believing or not believing
Mhm.
anymore, right? Wondering, in a state of wondering and questioning, what was I believing? Was I right to believe what I was believing? Where do I go from here? So, prolonged struggle is stress. And anybody who is under prolonged stress is going to get sick. We exist on a physical, mental, and spiritual plane.
Mhm.
Body gets sick, the mind gets sick, the spirit gets sick. Yeah. Sometimes all three are sick simultaneously. What stress does, it keeps you in that state of activating a stress response. Some
Mhm.
of us fight. So you see some of us on Facebook arguing back and forth. Some of us freeze. Some people are like, I am not getting involved. This is too much for me. I can't do it.
I'm giving up.
I'm giving up. Some people actually faint, which is the give up part. Like they just check out, literally check out.
Mhm.
And you have some people who flee, they run. Flight is another one. They're like, boop, I'm gone. Over time, you realize that the most efficient way to deal with stress is to face it and feel the pain of it. It's just that it just makes sense that if I'm in pain for a long time, I want the pain to end. Yeah. So really it's like, well, how do I cope with chronic pain? And there are some people who live with physical chronic pain. Yeah, they've got medication, they have supports. You've got to apply some sort of interventions. And I'm hoping to share some of those.
So it has gotten that bad, huh? After all
Mhm.
this years.
It must get that bad. In the body, if you are exposed to stress for this long, your cortisol level is continually high. And cortisol is the biggest culprit in inflammation rising in the body. So, what does inflammation do? Yeah, it makes us sick. It makes
Mhm.
us sick. Yeah. And I think many people are there. I think many people are at that point. I have a theory that we're losing a lot of people because of that, like physically. The stress level is just too high in Dominica. I think a lot of us are checking out of life itself.
You say losing a lot of people. It can get that bad, huh?
It gets that bad. It gets
Because
that
of
bad. I
because
mean,
of
think about it.
politics.
Think about it. Physical stress, the stress on the body, uh, hypertension, high blood pressure, diabetes, cancers, most of the illnesses that we suffer with physically as human beings, there's an inflammation component. And I'm telling you, there are a lot of people, and you just admitted it, a lot of Dominicans are chronically stressed, to the point where I think a lot of us have forgotten how to de stress. Yeah, we've forgotten how to do that well.
Why would families, for example, turn against each other?
Emotions. When we live by emotions, which show up in response to stress, in response to disagreements, in response to other people having different thoughts, in response to some of us becoming super identified with a political party or group, if we're leading with emotions versus law or versus what is right, then we might turn against one another because we might actually come to believe that our family does not care about us if they don't agree with our party.
Is there a psychological explanation for why people eventually stop believing that change is possible?
Yes, there are several. One is, again, I just gave it to you, the stress response there. There's a certain percentage of us who will just give up, right? Our stress response will be to faint or to freeze. We'll just give up. But there's also learned helplessness, where you've
Hmm.
been putting forth so much effort consistently for so long, but you're not seeing the needle move. You're not seeing
Hmm.
any change happen, right? And if you're not applying certain interventions, strategies to
Mm-hmm.
manage on such a long, protracted fight, you're going to give up as a way to save yourself. So the brain is always trying to keep us alive.
So, what science tells us that society may be experiencing political fatigue?
Of course, exhaustion on every level, right? Remember, we're physical, mental, spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's hurt some people's spirituality as well, as in they've given up. I've heard some comments and read some comments where people are saying they're equating it to slavery and how, well, if you were such a believer in God, why didn't your God come to save you, right? During slavery? Why did you stay in slavery for so long? And a lot of people are starting to think that way and feel the results of that. Today's actually Juneteenth over here, which is June 19th, where African Americans celebrate this day because 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation went out, 2 years later, legally, they had been free legally. Finally, the soldiers got to Texas, Galveston, Texas, and were able to tell the people, you are free. You have been free the whole time. But
Mm-hmm.
we have to remember that something happens, right? As a
Mm-hmm.
result of the prolonged stress, the chronic stress, your ability to problem solve gets diminished. Your ability to create wise choices, make good decisions for yourself, it gets impacted. If you're looking in your environment and you're looking at people, say in Dominica, where you have thoughtful people you thought were thoughtful, people you thought were smart, people you thought were um, deeply spiritual, committed to high ideals, people you thought had integrity, right? And you voted for them based on that belief, based on those ideas and ideals. If you're looking at them turn away from you now and say yes to money, ooh, ooh, talk about body, mind, spirit,
So,
pain.
they have lost integrity
Of
because of that.
course. So think about how we've lost integrity when we do this. If I say I am this, and once you tell me, okay, yes, I support you and I believe in your this, you turn around and you go to that. What have you just done to me? You've just betrayed me. A lot of people are feeling that sense of betrayal. And sadly, we've developed a practice. So sometimes you can go into a kind of a loop, a repetitive loop. Once you open a door, sometimes it's hard to close the door. So whomever started the idea of crossing is double crossing in a movie. The double crosser is not somebody you celebrate. But when that happens in our political system, the people who the person crossed to, yesterday they might have been calling them everything but a child of God. But today they have to step outside of their integrity to say this is the best person in the world. So I have to lie to myself that this person that I thought was the worst person in the world yesterday, today is a saint, and I am supporting them 100%. Also, the person on the other side who had been giving this person their faith and loyalty, now they have to watch this person start to adhere to completely different ideals. This person stops hoping. Yeah, they give up the idea of what is right and just. So that hurts our spirituality. And I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about our faith, our ability to hope in the future and to hope in each other. And I often say you have to be careful about trusting people, but you do need to be able to trust people to build with them and grow with them in the community. That's what happens with family members who become your enemies because somehow they believe they can no longer trust you because your thoughts about politics are different from them. Yeah. But back to the integrity question, that's a huge problem in Dominica right now. Too many of our people have lost their integrity. They've lost it. They've given it up. And I say they've given it up because it's not the politician taking your integrity away from you. You have to decide what your position is. And if you believe your position is right and fair and just, you maintain it.
Mm-hmm.
But when we fail to keep those guardrails around our hearts, you know,
No, the question will be at this time as to what happens when communities, when hope begins to disappear.
Well, the community falls apart because we need the hope in each other to be able to build well. If there's an activity going on in my community, really, back in the day, right? Or ideally, we all show up. If there's a beach cleanup, the whole community should go clean the beach, right? But when we've lost hope in each other and we start distrusting and mistrusting each other, and we start calling each other enemies of the state because yesterday somebody had a different thought about
Who you
politics
are?
than me, how will I clean the beach with my enemy when my enemy shows up to help me clean the beach because they're from a different party? Then I look at them like, "Ah, they're not going to get some of the squash we prepared or the little bakes and codfish we had as a snack. We're watching them on the side before we give them, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of anything that brings separation and exclusion to that degree cannot be healthy for the whole, for the body, for the community.
How does political disappointment, if you will, affect young people in particular?
Well, think about it. Young people are looking on the older for modeling. It's social learning
As
theory,
my
right?
hero, yes.
Yes. You're looking at a model to help you shape your ideas, shape your decisions. Oh, I want to be like so and so because I see what they're doing, I see the results they're getting. I kind of like that. Yeah. But if the model you're looking at was very staunchly adhering to a particular code of ethics, a particular set of ideals for 10 years, 20 years, loud and proud, and next week you see them cross over, suddenly espousing some new, really some ideas that just don't match up with what you were believing in. Why would you want to emulate that? Now, the thing is, some people do emulate it, and sadly, you have younger people who are doing that modeling, watching people. They might tell you, well, I'm going after the coins, I'm going after the bag, I want what's mine. Yeah, pay me, put your hand in your pocket, right?
Pay me if you want my support.
Pay me for my vote. How many young people are you hearing saying,
Oh,
pay me for my vote? So that's
every
out of
day.
integrity.
Yes.
We're selling our most precious right in the society, which is your franchise, your right to vote, your right to choose who is at the top, right? But as above, so below. So we're body, mind, spirit. Spiritually, universal law says, as above, so below. But really, the leader you choose impacts the body so potently, right? That depending on who you have here is who you're going to have down here. So that's the modeling, because the thousands below, they come up like this. You have one leader, right? And you have departments, da 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 da. You come down, you have all these hundreds of thousands of people now at the bottom looking at the people at the top. And that one person up there or the small group up there, very potent. So whatever systems, whatever beliefs we have up here, it must dissipate down. It must. It's universal law. Now, sometimes if you want to change the society, you see it happening from the grassroots up. But that is a longer process, and that's what's been happening in Dominica. It's a long process because you have to change all these thousands of minds. But everybody has different emotions, and they're like, today they're with you, tomorrow they're not with you, and you have to try to convince them, right? And you start coming up, and you see some people pop up like Jack in the Box, and they start shining. But if the system up there is bent on keeping this as is, they're going to pick them off. They're going to say, pow, I'm going to give you some money, and if you can turn, I'm going to turn you. I'm going to roll you over. Like, like a lever. I'm going to find your weak points and your leverage, right? If you're going to move a stone, you angle your lever, your rock, your thing, right? To eventually, if you are not living and moving and deciding to be in integrity about your principles and ideals, you will be moved. And so we've modeled that to our people down there who, as above, so below. What we're having down there is a crisis. It's a crisis. It's very chaotic and painful. for the people down there when you have that kind of system. So we can talk about how to fix that.
All right, and let's take a little break. We'll come right back. A lot of food for thought here.
Cried in the dark, but I understood.
Dominica, we're talking to
We don't care.
psychologist Margaret Wallace to help us understand
Journey of life is a heavy road, bare feet on the stones.
how we can rediscover confidence, resilience, and hope at this time.
I'm led, sweet Dominica, down the way.
And feel free at this time. If there are any questions, feel free. Dr. Wallace is sitting on her couch, ready to answer your questions. I have many more questions to ask, but of course, feel free to ask the questions you need to ask. Let's take our first call. Good afternoon to you. Hello, talk to me.
Hello, Mr. Pelter. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, yes.
I'm listening to the young lady, but she sounds like somebody I was from my church. I know Mr. Wallace as a doctor. That is I just look at the psychiatric unit. I do not know if it's she.
No, it's not she. She's based in Atlanta.
Her
Huh?
She's
cousin,
based
her
in
cousin.
So ask a question.
What I'm saying is that the scripture teaches me it is better to put my confidence in God than to put my confidence in man. It's better to put my trust in God than to put in princes. Because the Bible taught us that the arm of flesh will fail us. Sometimes people lean on people, and when they come to the people deceive them, and that is something very bad. But when I enter the Christian life, I learned very much. When you see I'm home and everything going on, I say, Lord, you are hope. Hope is not in nothing. It is not in people. It is not in things. Hope thou in the Lord. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Sweet Dominica,
Somebody says human dignity is not for sale. If it was for sale, well, actually, it is because that it is the very premise upon which modern day slavery exists. Indeed, your vote is a fundamental right to effect change in your country. It's not a commodity to be bought or sold.
oh, we don't lose hope. We keep holding on.
I've asked that question, Doctor, and just yesterday, somebody tried to convince me that
Tears still trying
the incumbent, the Dominica Labour Party, will win the upcoming
to sweet God, it will all come through.
Rosa North by-election because there's a lot more money involved. What do you tell the people? Because politics have become very transactional, Doctor.
Things will work.
To turn away from this transactional politics if they have to. What do you say to them?
Well, I would ask, how has that been working out for you? Yeah, how has this transactional style of politics been working out for Dominica? That's what I would ask. So, what's the answer? The answer is this level of chaos and prolonged stress and not much money in people's pockets that really moves the needle, that makes a dent in your ability to create generational wealth. So you might get some money in your pocket, but
Oh, for now.
that
For
money
now.
ends for now. That's like a gift. That's not like consistent money. So if we are caring for ourselves, and that's integrity. Integrity is I have to care for myself, right? So I have to think long term, what's in my best interest long term, not just for today, right? So I have to think about what it is I'm going to do, the choice I'm going to make, because so far, when I evaluate, I have to be honest, right? Integrity. Again, I have to be honest and look at the situation. How has that style worked out for you and your family up to this point? Do you really have more money in your pocket? Do you have a business now? Right? The money you got, have you been able to turn it into revenue that you can leave for your children and your grandchildren's children, which is a biblical directive? Yeah, that's what I would ask.
Let-
And if there's going to be if you want a different result, you've got to be willing to do something in a different way. Anything, you have to make any adjustment. If the results I've been getting based on doing something in any particular way has yielded a particular set of results, and I don't like those results, I must, if I am in integrity, right? Meaning I'm caring for myself, I'm trying to do the right thing.
Mhm.
I have to now make a choice that is at least different than the one I've been making. Now, that next choice I make is got to be right action. Like it's got to be a positive choice, right?
Let's take a phone call. Are you there, caller? Yes.
Yes, I am. This doctor is speaking the truth. She's not speaking against any particular person. She's just speaking a general truth. It's so sad that some people, some political groups, going to take it for themselves because they are guilty. But she will get a little enemy for speaking the truth. That's what always happens. I just want to make one little statement, which reflects Dominica. The ultimate resource of a nation is its people. Unless this resource is employed for the benefit of the nation, unless the latent good which it represents is exploited to the maximum for the common good of the nation will languish, poor in spirit, lacking in achievement. And then, like you go on to say, freedom, liberty, rights of man, this means very little to the ignorant, the hungry, the ill-clothed, and the badly housed. And this is what we are suffering in Dominica. This is what we cannot believe that a government in power for 26 years, with all that economy power that it possesses, didn't create a factory to create employment and build up the agricultural industry, which agriculture and industry go hand to hand. They want to keep us poor. You see, they had a little election calling, and many people pull up in goodwill by the the government house, because they're looking for handouts, and that's what they want to do. They just want to have the money, give you a little handout, keep you poor, keep you ignorant, keep you ill-clothed, keep you ill-housed, and then you only can depend on them, and you don't want to take a chance to put anybody else because the little stipends that you're getting from them, you're afraid that it's finished. You're afraid to speak because you're afraid anytime you speak, the little job that you have, the little money you can go and beg for, you cannot get it. And our economy, our people is languishing. Our people have lacked confidence. Our people, it's a generational thing that have to be, people need to be educated right now, re-educated, and learn that through hard work, we can achieve the things that we want. But we need a change, we need a good economy, we need a government to produce the field that we can plow, that we can create for ourselves a future that we can be proud of and be confident in ourselves. Thank you.
Caller, thank you very much. Any comments at this time, or should I continue taking the calls, Ms. Wallace?
You're asking me?
Yes, I'm asking you. Should I
Yes.
take more
Okay. So
calls?
I wanted to. There was a lovely young lady who was
Yeah.
asking about the Wallace, and that's my cousin. Um, also, she said what she does is she puts her trust in God, not in man. And I agree with her that that's a beautiful place to start. The thing is, we have to live life on life's terms. We have these decisions to make in the moment, and sometimes it's highly emotional. Yeah, which is why I encourage people to go towards law, what is right and just. So even if I put my trust in God in my day to day, if I'm making a decision about a person, I will look at that person's behavior and I will, judge it against what is right and fair. Yeah, what is right and fair. I'm not just going to say, well, I'm going to pray about it, because the thing is, I have to live today. and I have to make choices today, right? I'm gonna have to tell a person yes or no. Now, as for enemies, that unfortunately is something that anytime you decide to speak up about whatever, you can expect people who don't like it, and you can expect people who don't like it a lot, to the point where they might not know you, but they think they hate you. What they're dealing with is an illusion about you, because again, they've never met you. I've told many people they would love me, like the people who know me. I'm the sweetest person in the world. So the idea of an enemy is based on an illusion of fear, yeah, and their own anxiety, because you might be saying something that's different to what they've come to believe is the truth. Yeah. As for the transactional nature of voters accepting money, as above, so below. The current system we have created in Dominica has become very transactional. It's do this, scratch my back, and I'll scratch yours. Here's a little piece, and you might get a little entry. We have to decide if that's working for us. It is not working for us given the level of pain we're in, right? It's not working for us. And so the people have, again, to decide, if it's not working for me, am I willing to take a chance on a different way? Because that's the only way out. So we need courage now, right? So we need courage now if we want something to happen in a different way, or else it's going to be that repetitive loop that happens like in addiction, where once you open that door to addiction, unless you interrupt the pattern, you keep using and you keep using and you keep using and you keep using, thinking you cannot stop. But really, you can stop. You just have to feel the pain of stopping and then now try a different way.
Let's take a phone call. Are you there, caller? Yes.
Yeah, Matt, good afternoon. Good afternoon to the doctor. Matt, I want to see if the doctor will agree with this analogy. And that's for my neighbor who called about putting their trust in God. Yes, you put your trust in God, but if you have a car that needs a shock replaced or it has some problem with the car, you take it to a mechanic. So you put your trust in God, but you still take the car to the mechanic. Similarly, if you have some problem, psychological, medical, whatever, you go to a doctor. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
That's a good point. I do agree. And the thing about it is, you go to a doctor if you're sick in your body. You go to a mechanic if you have something wrong with your car. Just because your doctor is very smart, you're not going to trust in God and take it to the doctor, because the doctor cannot do anything about your broken car. You got to go to the mechanic, right? So you still have to make these tough decisions day to day. And when you're doing that, you have to make it on, you have to take the next right step based on the information that you have. So you do your best, essentially, and you release the rest then, but you have to do your best. You have to take right action.
All right. Somebody wants me to ask you something on confrontation. How do we address issues of concern, truth against untruth in relation, no matter who are involved across the board? Truth against truth, truth against untruth in relations, no matter who are involved across the board.
Okay, so I have a strategy that I use myself where I appreciate or I acknowledge. I want to give honor to people's thoughts, because people are wherever they are today. This is just the person's position today, right? This might be from their lack of knowing or from their choice to lie to me. They have every right to lie to me, because people have a right to do whatever it is they want to do. However, after I acknowledge that, I have a responsibility to tell them my truth. Tell them the truth. I can offer them evidence. If they want to receive it, they will, because again, people have a right to do whatever it is they want to do. And many people, the way the brain works, sometimes you're not going to win an argument with logic, because our brain, again, does not like stress. So it does not like to be told no. It does not like us to think somehow we are not as smart as. So we become defensive about that, which is why it's good to, acknowledge the person's position. But still, you have to understand that that person's brain is going to fight to keep them believing the lie. Okay. And sometimes you actually even win an argument more so with persistence and maybe being willing to continue sharing the truth, but in a way that is not highly emotional. Don't get pulled into other people's stuff. Sometimes you might have to block somebody. You might have to stop engaging with a person if the encounters are so confrontational. Take a break from them. Give your own self a break because you might get frustrated trying to tell this person the truth. You know you have the evidence. What you're saying is correct, but they don't want to listen. That is where we have to acknowledge everybody is an independent and sovereign soul. They have a right to make mistakes, they have a right to incorrect information. In the end, you do your best and you let go of the rest. That's another rule. That's another strategy, okay, to cope with this whole problem we're facing here. Do your
Now,
best,
somebody's suggesting
release
here
the
that
rest.
people have a difficulty seeing God before the politician. The fear of poverty and the struggle makes it difficult to maintain integrity. How do you respond to that?
That is 100% true. Uh, a lot of us are locked into survival mode. In certain systems, that's the lowest level of energy. Yeah, that's your root energy. But it's very important. If your sense of safety and ability to provide for yourself is impacted, somebody has a lever jam there playing with it, right? It's very destabilizing for us until again we do what we're supposed to do, which is to ground ourselves and to strengthen ourselves. In that situation, what you learn to do is if they will not invite me to their table, I've got to create my own table, even though it is rickety, it has three legs, it punches in, but it's my table. It will be less than the people over there with all of their money, the transactional money. But we have to come back to understanding life, because participating over there where you're getting the transactional monies at the cost of your integrity and the cost of your soul, like who is that for? The same scripture we're talking about there. What at what cost will you surrender your soul or your sense of morality or righteousness? And we all know it. We all know what is right. So we have to be willing again to be courageous and take the next step, assess the situation, create your own table. It might not be as high knobs as the other person's table. They don't want to invite you, they don't want to give you access. There's so many ways to make money these days. There's also a different way to live. You don't have to live according to everybody's standard or their definition of success. We individually get to create our definition of success. But I'm telling you, a lot of people, they have lost themselves when it comes to the morality piece because we've allowed the pain in the body. The pain in the body sometimes can cause you to do a lot of things. It doesn't cause you, we choose. But a lot of us use that pain to justify surrendering our higher self, which is that you don't want to be the person at 2 o'clock in the morning feeling bad about yourself. Because, see, that's a pain only you are feeling. And that is very hard to share with other people, that kind of feeling right there. And I think a lot of Dominicans have had to face that, or they've chosen to face that. They've chosen to create that, forgetting their own unique power. And that's what we have to remember. And that's what we have to work from. It'll always be true. That's always going to be true.
On the telephone, are you there, caller? Yes.
Yeah, blessings. Dr. Wallace, what's up?
Doing well. Thank you.
I give him thanks. In spite of the challenges, there's a lot to be thankful for. Perception again. And I heard you a while ago, we're talking about what people should do based on that level of psychological warfare by politicians. I love being blunt. And the people should do what they have to do to change it. And then you have leaders that are so coward,
They does not understand sacrifice, particularly the ultimate sacrifice if need be, because you want to lead. Who are you leading? Yourself or nation or a people or a grouping? So I'm just saying, most of the times, somebody might say, trust in God. Yeah, but the reality is staring you in your face, and you do what you have to do to get a monkey off your back rather than prayer. And I'm just saying it is so sad. The same people that will say the people supposed to. Who are the people? The same people that are asking for the people to change what that is being done to them. The resources of the state belongs to you. The constitution is not only for the citizens or the what they call the peasants or the non-political people to abide to. Politicians are not abiding to them, but they want to provide to them. And then they're going to say, oh, all you're breaking the law, all you're violent. How do you deal with a situation that seems so complicated? Those for, those against, and you're supposed to change it. The people are supposed to do something about it. The same religious people, the politicians, the police, the lawyers, they're going to say, oh, look, the people are violent and they're rebellious, and look, they're doing A, B, and C to get the monkey off your back, you know. No, go and pray. How do you deal with that, Dr. Wallace? Thank you.
Let me just follow up with a question. You can answer two questions in the same breath there. After the vote, the political culture and system places supreme authority in the person who becomes the prime minister. He decides on the cabinet, ambassadors, head of state, etc. He's the head of cabinet. The man, woman of integrity gets into national politics and must now bow, kiss the ring of the leader, the prime minister. How do we fix this without genuine constitutional reform or revolution? Are you there?
I'm here. So, what is the question? The question is, how do we fix?
How do we fix this system, the political culture that we now have?
Well, how do you make change happen? Change happens top down or bottom up. The top we have now, actually, for a moment, I think I want to say from a flash of insight, or it could have been that there was so much buzz from the people at the bottom asking for a change in the head that the people were promised that April 2025 was going to be the last date that they could expect the
April
current leader
25.
to be,
Yes.
right? But again, because of our lack of integrity, either the leader lied, right? So if you're making an assumption, you could assume the leader lied from the beginning, right? Or the leader decided to do something different, change their minds along the way. Either way, whatever the promise, that promise was not kept. So we're out of integrity there. So from May 1st, 2025, Dominica has been living in a state out of integrity when it comes to that system. And all of the people who didn't say anything about it have been living out of integrity. And that's a sweet way to say we're lying. We're lying, collectively lying. So you had somebody make a promise and there was nothing, there was no feedback, even from the people who are supposed to keep our leaders accountable. Yeah. So you change a system from the top. The people could also change the system from the bottom. It's really the people have to change who is up there. If you want to have a different system,
The
because
people have the power.
as above, so below.
Mm-hmm.
It starts from the head. I explained it at the beginning. One leader can be so powerful that one word causes pain or glory to thousands of people. Now, one of these thousands on the bottom, their word does not have as much weight. So really, the people have to see that and choose leaders who are more reflective of who they are. But if we are saying that our people have become very transactional after modeling this, that means we need to do some work on the inside, spiritually, to get back to a place of integrity, because right now we're still transactional down there. We have to get quiet again and go back to living by rules and regulations. There are systems in place, there are rules and regulations. We're talking about the Bible and praying a lot, but the Bible has many instructions about how to live according to rules and regulations.
But if the people at the top are breaking the rules, though, how do you do this?
The people at the bottom have to change the people at the top into people who follow rules and regulations. Right now, at least, they still have the ability, but depending on what decisions the people at the top make, they might lose that ability. Yes or no?
That's true.
So right now, they get to choose, they get to decide. I have done this for long enough, right? I'm getting a few dollars, yes, every now and then. Some of us are. Yeah. But long term, is this how I want to keep doing it? Yeah. So the people of Dominica have to decide if we are okay living out of integrity. We had a decision, a promise made. Again, for me, that is a big deal. For such a big, loud promise at the top, that I am going to afford the people an opportunity for an influx of new ideas, inspiration of new ideas, right? Even from among the current party, which is a breath of fresh air for all. But if I make a plan with you and then when you show up, I tell you, man, I changed my mind. What is that? Do you feel good about that? You might go along with it if you think that person is stronger than you, but you're going to have some level of resentment, some level of, I got gypped, I got fooled. And you go along with it because you feel weak. That means you don't even trust your own strength. That's working out of low self-esteem and exhaustion and not your full power as a person. So many people are living like this since April 2025. How is that going to be good for a country when you need everybody to be motivated, energized, feeling positive, hopeful, joyful about creating big things? This one person alone cannot do it. Or the few people, they cannot do it alone. You need everybody to do it.
Let's
And
take
we
a
might
phone
do
call.
it, but it won't be as good as it ought to be or it could be. And that's what we're seeing. It's not as good as it could be.
On the telephone, are you there? Yes? Caller. Sorry about that. Again, the numbers are 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, or 616-4257. Are you there? Caller? Caller, are you there? You're not. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back to take your phone calls. There are many more questions on the table. Stick around.
We are ready. We are ready. We are ready. We are ready. We're ready. We're ready. We are ready. We are ready. We are ready. We are ready. We're ready. We are ready.
Digicel, we are ready to see big matches and big moments. Watch the World Cup live on Digital Plus TV. The front row seat to every match, every moment. Digital Plus TV, bringing you closer to the game you love.
Ooh, oh, oh. KFC. Ooh, oh, KFC. Looking for some place to go. Meals for soul. KFC. Grab your family and your friends. Join in the experience. KFC. It's the place to be. Made for you and me. KFC. KFC. It's finger licking good.
I wanna drink Dominica, that's rum with you. I wanna drink Dominica, that's rum with you. Get the body, drink it every day. Give me energy. No right pepper way. Get the water. Drink it every day. Give me energy. Time to day me wet. Okay. My body. My knee. Who's ready? Full energy. My body. My knee. Who's ready? Full energy. Okay. Distributed by Belfast Estate Limited. Drink it, but don't abuse it. Okay. Boom. Here's a winner. Win an unforgettable experience during the FIFA World Cup games and win with Coca-Cola. Here's how you can enter. On cap a 591 ml Coke original taste or Coke zero sugar with the football label. Find the unit code under the cap. Send that code via WhatsApp to 265-5792 or scan the QR code in stores. It's that easy. One entry can make you win one of 5 flat screen smart TVs during the FIFA World Cup game or win FIFA merchandise instantly with over 1,500 prizes to be won. For more details, follow Josephine Gabriel Facebook page. Score with Coca-Cola and win.
All right, let's take a few more phone calls. Of course, there are many more questions I need to ask, but let's allow the people to interact with Dr. Wallace. Are you there, caller? Yes.
Yeah, it's just me again. Let me make it brief.
Sorry.
Doc, we listened to the Prime Minister talking about creating a government of national unity after that general elections. There is not no emergency. We are not faced with any major natural disaster or war zone or anything recovering from. What I'm hearing is a one-party state. What would you advise the people? Because we keep talking about the people. I do not know if we are talking about the priests, the pastors, the police, the lawyers, the doctors. When we talk, we say the people. Are we just referring to the common or the ordinary people? What are we going to do to stop a man with the intention to remain there for 2050 as is stated? That's all I want to ask, darling.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
So, what are we going to do? Again, it is up to the people to do something different. If they want a different result, in the end, they have to do it. What does the leader mean by a government of national unity? My question would be, why are we not united right now? Why are we not united right now? Number two, that is really unclear. What does this mean exactly? What does this mean exactly? So the people have to ask, well, what do you mean by that? Because I feel confused by it. I myself feel confused by it. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Yeah. So that's just, to me, that's just, as we were told recently, that's just politics. Those are just words. And I think the politics of that is, that sounds good. The same way it sounded good, because at the time, the people were buzzing about new leadership. You know, when the promise was made for April 2025 to be the last date, I think this is another one of that. But it is hooking itself into my theory, right? I'm not basing it on any fact because, again, this is unclear. I don't know what that means. That is, for me, nonsensical talk or chatter. Let me say chatter. That's just political chatter. It doesn't make much sense to me. What I think that might be hooked into is the idea of competition. So the way our politics has worked in Dominica, anytime there's an idea floating in the collective, that idea gets huffed and distorted or morphed into something that, again, from results, it has not helped us get closer together. Yeah, it's not helped people get closer together. Like you're saying, I'm here because you're saying a lot of people have lost hope. The people on the opposition sides have been talking about working together, forming coalitions. And so I think, again, because, this is very potent of here, it huffs the ideas from the collective as they pop up. Bright ideas get huffed and distorted or misdirected or redirected. And they will be misdirected or redirected because if something is not coming from inside of me, it's hard to maintain or sustain something if I don't myself have the passion for it. But if it's a political move, then it's just to huff that idea or to consume the idea. So I'm saying that, but again, this is for me chatter and nonsensical talk because it's like it's just talking in the wind because what does that mean? There was no clarity given on what that would look like. So it's just talk. Distraction, a waste of time. To me, if people are struggling with hope to that level, that kind of talk for me is distracting.
Those of you just joining us at this time, we're talking to psychologist Dr. Margaret Wallace
Things will work out.
as we examine the challenges facing our nation and exploring how Dominica and Dominicans can rediscover confidence, resilience, and hope. It's my theme song for the afternoon.
Sweet
So come back and take your phone calls. We're here until 2:30.
The journey of life is a heavy road. Bare feet on the stones still carry hope. Sweet Dominica, down the runway. Some things are my keep on walking, even when I'm
Matt, good afternoon. I'm here this afternoon, boots in the air, loaded to get on the ground. And Matt, I want to say this afternoon to this doctor, hats off to you. Hats off to you as a daughter of the soil, willing to plant seeds that can grow into successful trees. Matt, one of the things I want to say is the Labour Party has a policy about giving a man a fish. And the UWP have a policy about teaching a man to fish. Matt, when you're giving a man a fish, when you doesn't have, the man will not get anything. And when you don't want to give, you don't give him so he won't get. Matt, when you teach a man to fish, Matt, this man can go out every day or any day at any time on his own and fish. And there are times when the catch the man is going to come home with, he can share. So it says if you give a man a fish, every day he will be looking for a fish. And if you teach a man to fish, that man will fish until he will be able to give others. Doctor, there's a youth symposium coming up. And I would like the officials to invite you to be the guest speaker in this symposium because I'm listening to you and your inspiration is what the young people of Dominica need in order that they can put themselves in position to move Dominica forward and to move themselves and their family forward. Thank you, Matt. Boots in the air. Take care. Bye-bye.
Now, Doc, just a question there. If the people have become so discouraged, where does recovery begin? Where does the recovery become?
Recovery is possible. So because I'm a psychologist, I believe sini bobo ini loga. Yeah, every problem's got a solution. I've watched people come in completely unable to talk with me because they are hearing voices to the degree that they're in a whole other world. And I've watched them get better and come back to themselves. I think for us, the people, we're making a mistake. We are forgetting that we are a spirit within body. And we're acting as if it's the body that's everything. But you must remember we are body, mind, and spirit. We exist on different levels. Okay. So if it's just the body you're focusing on, meaning your emotions, that's not good enough. If you're just thinking about your thoughts, that's not good enough. You have to go up there to the spiritual realm. Now, in that, from that angle, understand if you're fighting on with your body, you're going to get tired and exhausted. And which is where a lot of people are like, I'm not dealing with that anymore. Forget about it. I tired with them. Politics. Complain. I tired with that. If you're fighting on with your mind, you will get discouraged. So that means you must also activate your spirit and connect to something that I've heard recently in politics. It's been a while, and I'm feeling so uh, like it felt like cooling to my brain when I think about Dominica politics. When Dr. Fontaine suggested the idea of olive branch politics. Like olive branches, that song we sing in the Catholic Church. Around the table of the Lord, so God's children in the church. Listen, the olive branch is a symbol, yeah, that as tough as things get, maybe we can do this together. Because in the end, that's what we have to do. We cannot do it with half of the country. That's why we've been stuck and stalled. We're making some progress, but it's not enough to push us to the next level. We need everybody. And what that means is you connect to shared purpose. Purpose, that is a higher spiritual goal, right? So if we, not if, when we choose to connect to our shared purpose around that table, right? What's the table? Dominica. Okay? Around Dominica, something greater than ourselves, something bigger than, look, I'm getting a cool out, or I'm getting $50 or $500, something bigger than that. Yeah? Then you'll discover your resilience. Then you'll discover your ability to hope again, because you will understand that hope is not just a wish. Hope is not just a wish, hope is a verb. Yesterday I hoped, ça c'est en past tense, eh? Today, I hope. Tomorrow, I'm hoping for this, right? So hope is not just a thing, an idea, which is a noun. It is also a verb. And I have to take action. I have to do certain things. The action I take has got to be right action. It's got to be lined up with my integrity, which is, I'm talking about the highest good of all. Not just my highest good if I get a little extra on the side. Forgetting that little piece is not even in my highest good. It might seem that way today because it nurses my immediate satisfaction, my sense of survival. I get a little change to do something, but it cut me off from long-term prosperity. So I have to look beyond the bread you eat today, right? See the higher goal, see your Savior and your Lord, see the higher goal, which is about prosperity that we can all access, not just prosperity for some, but a situation in Dominica economically that anybody who wanted to become a millionaire, they could, because the circumstances are correct. That's what we need to connect to. That's it. We will always get less than and not enough if we're looking just for the little more so. The little more so is not enough, not even for you, not for a long time. It's a different approach we need. I feel so grateful to this current organization, the government of Dominica, for bringing us to this point. I feel very grateful to them, I feel very grateful that we're close to building an airport. However, we're doing it and whatever, close to building an airport, there's a marina up in my side of Dominica. I feel very grateful for that. But I understand that if we have to get to that next level of shared prosperity, we need a different system. We need a different system, and we need people who know how to do that and who actually, in and of themselves, they don't have to be convinced. They already want to do it.
All right, doctor, let's take a phone call. Thank you very much. Thank you. Are you there, caller?
Yeah, finally. Matt, let me ask the doc. Doc, are you a psychiatrist, psychologist? What's your
I'm a
profession?
psychologist, so I do not prescribe medication. I do psychological evaluations where I assess and evaluate people to come up with their diagnoses.
Are you there?
Let me just continue. I just asked you that to build on something. Doc, you may dispel the nonsensicalities, or you may choose to say it is nonsensical. You there with me?
Yes, sir.
You there with me?
He's asking
Yes.
Dr. Wall. Yes, she's here.
Okay. Doc, This man, and I was surprised the media did not hold him to it. He said he's going to the parliament to make it law. So anybody who want to remove that one party state he's talking about, you say it's a bit confusing. Why am I not confused? Because he said at Makushri, he will be there for 2050. And everything he's doing in his machinations to remain in government tells me he's as serious as hell. So when he said that he is going to make Dominica a one-party state under the disguise, and even if it's not even a disguise, a government of national unity, what merits that call when there is no disaster, there is no emergency? So you could see this is an obvious dictator that are testing the waters, and even the media did not pick up on it. Thank you.
And that's a great observation. That should have been something that the media picked up on.
The journey of life is a heavy road, bare feet on
Doctor, it seems that some public officers feel victimized. And one is asking at this time, what's your take on victimization and persecution of public officers in the service?
What's my take? That is a legal situation. So, yeah, what you do is I know it will cost money, but your redress is legal.
All right. Thank you very much. 449-3095-96 What advice, our time is coming to the end there though. What advice would you give young people who feel their future seem limited at this point?
My position on that is create your own table. Really, create your own table. If nobody's inviting you to the table, this is 2026. You have a telephone in the palm of your hand. There are so many ideas on how to make money. Create your own table so that even if it's a little rickety, it's yours and you direct that traffic. That is how you will build independence and not having to rely on the little bit. It's still going to be a little bit if you have to beg for it. So you might as well create the little bit for yourself and keep your integrity and keep your dignity. And, open up ways for you to make money to take care of yourself and your family. That's really a beautiful thing to do regardless of the circumstances politically anyway. I think many more people need to go into business for themselves. You start where you are, start small, and just grow. As you grow, expand. But you've got to start somewhere. I would keep my power and I would make my own money. I would find a way to make my own money. And there are 267,000 ways to do it. Just go to Claude or ChatGPT right now and ask them for ideas.
On the telephone, are you there? Yes? Caller, are you there? Let's take another phone call. Are you there? Yes?
Hello.
I'm here. Go ahead, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon, doctor.
Good afternoon.
Doctor, I generally, but I'm going to refer to you, to me, or me to you. You give me a first chance in life, and I failed. You give me a second chance in life, and I failed. I am of the opinion that you might cut me short there, but you consider me, and you give me a third chance, and I failed you, doctor. I am not going to the fourth and the fifth chance, but I just want your take on that. If I fail you 3 times, would I still be reconsidered for a fourth or even a fifth chance, doctor? Because we seem to be stuck down here in Dominica. We have been failed. We have been failing for over 5 times. We have failed, and yet still we have been bribed and cannot make a choice on our own to better ourselves. What's your take on that, though?
My take on that is to treat this as you would any other situation in your life. Right? If somebody makes you a promise, right, and they don't fulfill the promise, exactly as you said, the first time, okay, maybe I might say that's a mistake. Maybe you just didn't know, you forgot. The second time, I might say, you have a bad habit with this. I don't like that at all, at all, at all. In life, you got 3 strikes, third time's a charm. So the number 3 is a nice rule number for many people. By the third time, if I am taking care of myself, if I am practicing self-care, if I am acting like a wise human being, I ought to make a different choice. Yeah? So it's my responsibility. It really is. I think integrity also comes back in there. Integrity, some of us, we only think about integrity when it comes to right and wrong. But you can be out of integrity when you are not taking care of yourself. So a lot of us, we go silent and quiet when things are hurting us. You're out of integrity.
Let me
And
ask a
you're an
question then.
adult,
Of
you
course,
gotta speak up.
we're winding down. We don't have
Yeah.
too many minutes. I think it looks like about 15 minutes.
Yes.
Can a country, Dr. Wallace, heal after years of political polarization? Can it? Can that happen?
Of course. Of course. That comes with shared purpose and intention. Yeah. Usually that comes though from the top. Yeah. It comes from the top. It also comes from the bottom. But like I said, if you're building from the bottom up, remember you have to convince so many more people. That's why you need good leaders in any organization. That's why you need good leaders in any organization. The leader matters so much because what the leader does has so much weight on the whole. As above, so below. If you're struggling on the bottom, it's because you're struggling at the top. What's coming from the top, it's not working for who's at the bottom. Not well enough. It's working sometimes, not good enough. That's what really, really, really has got to change. But remember, it's the people at the bottom who have to change it. Right? So as above, so below. We have to come back into integrity. We have to do the right thing. If it's right for you, it also has to be right for me. If I'm getting a little cool out, I need to be sure that my neighbor can also get the cool out before I take the cool out. That's integrity. Integrity is not, well, I can get it, so I'm taking it, and I don't care about my neighbor not getting it. I'm lying. I'm a liar if I live my life like that. I'm a thief because the money I'm also accepting belongs to all the people. So if I'm taking some of it saying, well, they gave it to me, but I know for sure my neighbor cannot access it when it's really also my neighbor's money, am I not out of integrity? That's the point. We have to see that. Us down there, we have to see it.
Even when I'm the journey is not an easy one. But we do not lose
We're going to take of course, a call, and then we could take a break and start closing down and pulling down the curtains. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Hey, good afternoon, Matt.
My brother, how you doing?
Good afternoon, the doctor. I'm doing good. And the doctor in the house. I just wanted to be all ears, but I heard a guy call a while ago about me making the mistakes all the time. And I heard Dr. Wallis just spoke there that kind of make me want to call to put someone in perspective. These changes that people not making after all this manipulative abuse, you don't think that people suffer from this type of abuse? Remember that situation, what they call Stockholm Syndrome?
Mm-hmm.
And people get so caught in that because the manipulation is masked in gifts and charms.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my opinion, that is all the traits I've seen of that kind of leadership has narcissism all over it. And it's playing its hand so well that when elections come in and they think that they're going to lose that grip,
They come with all the gifts and the charm. And to me, it's working all the time. And I think it's because the people are suffering from some type of narcissistic abuse or manipulative abuse. And then there is some kind of way they come back and they feel sorry because that person who is manipulating them also has a part that they play where they play the almost like they you have to have sympathy for them. They'll say something where you're sympathetic towards them. And that is only to manipulate you again and again and again. And I never really understood it fully, but I think people that have that trait to manipulate people so well, they have another part of them that it comes with gifts and charm. And the people always caught up in the gift and the charm and not seeing the manipulation and how far down it's taking them. And they wallow in it and even have excuses for it. What's your thought on that? I just all ears.
All right, doctor?
My thoughts on that is he's completely correct. There is actually a personality disorder in psychology called narcissistic personality disorder. And, people think that's just really a bad person. Sometimes they do bad things. Well, more often than not, they do bad things as well. But the thing is, the presentation is very positive, very charming, very kind, very nice. But it's always connected to something else that the person needs from you or wants from you. And over time, people get you get hoodwinked. Sometimes it's not even over time, depending on how vulnerable a person is or their refusal. I say refusal because you always have choice. Psychology also tells you always have power. So when a person comes in to attempt to charm you, if you are living in integrity, I'm not talking about if you're a Christian or a Buddhist or whatever. If you are willing to live by principle and integrity, you will not be easily rolled or turned. That, I'm telling you, is where we the people have to go back to existing. Because what I'm also hearing is, no, this is a religious idea, the idea of the mark of the beast. What I'm hearing is if people are living in this way where if somebody comes to me with just the right amount of charm, I will say yes to this so-called mark of the beast, right? You know what I mean? Like this idea, it doesn't matter. As long as the person comes in a nice enough way, I will say yes. But if that way they're coming to me, that they're offering me is out of line with what I know is good for me, I have to say no. I have to say no. Now, how do you get out of abusive situations? Sometimes we've got a feeling of pain. You've got to go to the hospital often enough. They've got to wire your jaw shut long enough, often enough. You got to have a few broken bones often enough for you to realize, you understand? As much as I love them, I need to save myself. Some people have to come to that place before they leave. I'm encouraging us to just sit with ourselves in a quiet moment, long enough to realize the reality of your situation. Yeah. And plant yourself in integrity and do what is right. Take the next right step. Do the next right thing. Yeah. When you get tired because it's very confusing to you, take a break, unplug. Don't give up. Rest. Don't quit. You see what I'm saying? Ask for support. Join like-minded people who can at least give you a little bit of support. There are ways.
We almost to the end, and so many phone calls are coming in. I'm hoping that you can join us some other time as we move forward. But Dr. Wallace, what gives you hope about Dominica today? Your thoughts on that before we're gonna lock it up there at the 2:30 hour.
What gives me hope is
about
universal
Dominica?
law. What gives me hope? Universal law, the laws of life. That if you keep taking the next right step, you are more likely to get a positive outcome. You do the next right thing. You do the next right thing. You do the next right thing. Stay in integrity. If it's wrong for me, it's wrong for them. If it's right for me, it's right for them. What's good enough for me is good enough for them. You understand? Even though in my flesh, in the moment, I would prefer it a different way. Yeah? It's universal law. Keep doing the right thing. Stay in motion. Take positive action because a body in motion stays in motion, right? So these are laws in the universe. Yeah. You stay in momentum. Keep doing the right thing. Yeah. Keep fighting for what is right and fair, even if Somebody feels themselves to be your enemy. That's okay. But keep doing the right thing. Let me tell you, in the kung fu movies, I grew up, like I say, in Carthage, and RBD cinema used to be a big deal. We used to go down on Sundays after we sell our little coconut to go watch a kung fu movie, right? Very often in the movie, the starring la pa more, mais avant starring la pa more, they're getting plenty blows to the point of death. But the universal law is to keep fighting, right? Do your best, right? Do your best. Very often, that person gets some kind of divine support, some kind of help. Somebody shows up to help them finish the fight. But if you just sit and you surrender and you say, c'est comme ça, y est déjà, you don't even give yourself an opportunity. Jesus take the wheel. Jesus will not take your wheel. You have to fight. That is the
What?
only way.
But time is of the essence, Doctor. If you could leave one message with Dominica today, what would it be at this time? And I want to say thank you for joining us. We have another stop coming up at the 2:30 hour. What would be your message to be left with Dominica today?
My message is hope does not mean to pretend that everything is okay. It is not all okay. But hope is believing that you can do something, at least one thing today to create a better Dominica. Yeah. For me, that thing is we've got to go back individually to being in integrity. Si bon pour moi, et bon pour aussi. Right? If you cannot get it, really help me understand why my neighbor ought not to get it too. Things like that. Yeah. You said you were leaving at a certain point. I am not going to make an excuse for you when you lied. That is out of integrity for you. I cannot help you to hurt your own self, put your own salvation at risk. You lied. I don't want you to lie and get whatever judgment you have to face. You understand? And I have to be able to live with myself as well. Yeah. So hope is not pretending everything is okay, but we got to do what we can do today. Hook it into as much righteous action as possible. Yeah. So that we can see the benefit of it tomorrow, even if it takes sacrifice, even if it hurts in the moment. But, we're strong people. We understand that. And we've got to do that. You're free to think. You are free to choose. You're free to act. Do it. And do it now.
Dr. Wallace, it was a pleasure. Let's do it again sometime soon, okay?
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye. Don't give up on Dominica now.
The journey of life is a heavy road. Bare feet on the stones, still I carry hope. Down the runway. Some people are my good. I keep on walking, even when I'm
The hurricane season is upon us. Check on your neighbors, especially the elderly and those with disabilities. We're stronger together, so lend a helping hand when you can.
This Father's Day, celebrate down and go. Sign up for postpaid and get 50% discount on selected handsets. Win $100 gas voucher for that. 2 lucky customers will drive away with 4 brand new tires, and 1 lucky customer will win a 43-inch TV. All you have to do is sign up for postpaid or switch to Digicel Home Internet. Yes, it's that simple to win. Visit your nearest Digicel store today and make this Father's Day one to remember. Digicel, the best network powered for that.
We're dead.
Sick and tired of being sick and tired? My name is Brent Dyatt from Kingdom Health Services. I'll be coming to the beautiful island of Dominica on June 22nd to June 28th. There I'll be doing diagnostic scan. I'll be doing the Biotic Pro, which is a non-invasive diagnostic scan that can detect any health issue up to 3 years before it happens. So if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you've been going to different places and still unable